Hello everybody, today I have an exciting video to share with you guys. I'm going to be doing a basic overview of the Golden Horde. Now, if you want a more advanced overview, I am going to be making a video later on today or tomorrow. That's going to be more of a guide explanation video on how I think you should play the Civ, and also it's going to be a playthrough versus another either human opponent or an AI opponent. Either way, this is the basic version, and later on I'm going to have the more advanced version of the Golden Horde. So, with that being said, let's just jump right into the video now, because we have a lot to go through, guys. Now, obviously the Golden Horde is a manga variant, and we do have a lot of aspects from the mangas. We do have Uvu's stone generation is a big aspect of the Golden Horde. But we do have a lot of differences as well. And the first difference that you notice is that your TC is not... Like, you can't move your TC around. I keep forgetting if it's unpacked or packed, but... the point is that you can't move your TC. However, you still do have draws, and you still do have Uvus, but, again, you can't move your draws. Which is... It is, like, not great. Especially since your draws are more expensive. They cost 75 wood. They don't cost 100, but they do cost 75 wood. You can place them on any resource and gather any resource, but you just can't move them. This does make your base a little bit more exposed than mangas would be. So you might be a little bit more susceptible to Dark Age rushes with this civilization. Besides that, there's not too much different than mangas, right? Regarding upgrades, you do have most basic upgrades like wheelbarrow, double broadaxe, specialized pick. You do have two unique upgrades though, and that is your horticulture upgrade is cost stone, and you have a castle age upgrade called Uvu Offering that increases stone gather rate by 30%, which is very strong once you get 3 Uvus by aging up to the castle age. Again, you can age each time you age up, you get an additional Uvu, just like the Malians with pit mines. That's how you want to think of that. So this upgrade is very good once you have that. And another aspect that the Golden Horde get is the Golden Tent. And the Golden Tent is... I like to think of the Golden Tent as one of the most powerful buildings in the game. And you can kind of think of it like the Byzantine Cistern, or the Byzantine Cistern plus the Abbasid House of Wisdom. So it's like 2-in-1 kind of thing. Let's show you that here. So, yeah, the Golden Tent really can do 3 things. It can produce units, the Torgud, the Roost tributes. It can swap between productions, edicts, defensive edicts, Kalash edict, and Stockyard edict. The 2 Stockyard and Kalash require stone to upgrade to, but these are for free. However, for you to utilize these edicts, you need to build production buildings within a fortified outpost, or pastures within a fortified outpost from the Stockyard edict. So to utilize this edict, everything needs to be within a fortified outpost. It's really important that you understand that, or else the edict will not work. Now, the Golden Tent also operates similar to that of a House of Wisdom. You can age up while making villagers, for instance, which is a very powerful thing to note. Because, yeah, obviously, if you're making villagers while aging up, that's free villagers that your civ is getting that another civ isn't. So that's a very, very powerful thing about the Golden Tent. And it's also powerful that you can produce units from the golden tent because it's essentially a way to produce units without building production, which is very strong tempo advancement. Which is why, for the most part, I've been going for Khan and Torguds as an age-up option because it allows you to produce units cheaper and it makes them a little bit stronger. Building cults is not bad. It essentially gives you 2 production buildings for free. However, I do find that the Khan and the Torguds is just a nicer tempo boost at the start of the game. And I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I do find that Castle Age has been my most successful strat with this civilization because stone production is really, really important. And let's use Inner Jiffy now. Stone production is really, really important because it allows you to get 2 really important upgrades later on in the game, and that is this upgrade as well as this upgrade. And it allows you to get the Haaschs edict, which does cost 600 stone. So I've been finding that the Haaschs edict is probably the strongest edict to get. Because it just produces units for free, and I'll show you that now, but you can... When you make 2 spearmen, you get 1 Haaschs for free. And that is very, very powerful just to get units for free. Especially units that buff other units. And once you get Castle Age, you can again buff the Haaschs to get 2 additional ranged armor, 2 melee armor, and 25 more health. So with this upgrade, with this edict, your Haaschs become very strong, and you're getting a lot of value from this edict in particular. So let's age up now with the Torguds and the Khan upgrade, and I can kind of show you what that looks like. So the Khan is a unit that increases... Well, it buffs nearby allies, and it essentially makes your nearby units better. The Torguds are a unit that is essentially a bodyguard for your Khan. And you can actually see it here, but when you're near a Torgud, the damage is redirected to the Torgud when your Khan takes damage. And I'll show you guys that now, but these are really strong early game units because, number one, their stats are very similar to that of like weak knight, right? You want to think of these units as a weak knight. 10 damage, 220 armor, health, and a little bit of armor. So they also have a decent charge. So, and the Khan is the same way. It's a weak knight, and it also heals. I'm gonna show you this because it's kind of interesting, but the Khan is taking damage, and if I get in range, it's actually gonna redirect the damage to the Torguds, which is kind of interesting. You can see this Torgud is taking damage, but it's actually shooting the Khan. Another thing is that these act like Keshiks as well. When you attack things, they heal. So you can just think of them like Keshiks, actually. The best way to think of them. So I think that's pretty interesting to show you guys, because they are quite unique units in that regard. They operate similar to Keshiks, but they have a lot of bonuses that make them unique and strong with the Khan in general. Let's make other production buildings. On top of that, don't have any unique Ultra Range units until you get the Cav Ultra and Castle Age, and those are very similar to Roost's Horse Ultras. In fact, they're basically the same, I think. And on the stable side, you have the early Horseman and the Keshek. Again, all of your units are being produced in batches of 2. I think I might have skipped that, actually, but it is a very important aspect of the Golden Horde, is that everything is produced in batches of 2, except for the Scout and the Shaman. Another thing to note is that they are produced in batches of 2, but they are produced slightly faster. not that much faster, but a normal villager takes 20 seconds to make. So in theory, 2 villagers should take 40, but it actually takes 39 seconds. And I'm pretty sure it's the same with the other units. It's a little bit faster, but it does produce in batches of 2, which makes it a little bit harder to build because it is more expensive, right? Initially, it requires more resources. Now, I think we've mostly covered everything in Feudal Age and Dark Age, so again, you'd want to remember to build your Feudal Age Uvu, but besides that, I don't think we need to cover anything else. You do get pastures for 250 wood that... Why am I going to attack? You do get pastures for 250 wood that 4 villagers can occupy. So they are more efficient pastures, or farms, I guess, if you want to think of them like farms, because it takes 4 farms of 300 wood. Essentially, 4 farms here are 250 wood, right? So it is a little bit more efficient. Alright, let's look on going to the Castle Age here. Now, obviously, every single age you are aging up with the Golden Tent, right? Which is a bonus for the Golden Horde because you're saving these villagers throughout the game, right? And that is... There's so many reasons why I like to go fast castle with this civ, but that's one of them. The efficiency is one of them, right? Because you're efficient with your production buildings. And this is the third reason, is that relic Uvus, shamans can consume a held relic to build an Uvu which can exceed the build limit. Increases Uvu stone gather rate by 20%. So not only does it allow you to make more Uvus, it also allows you to increase the Uvu stone gather rate by 20%. And once you're in Castle Age, you can also increase the Uvu stone gather rate by 30%. So you can double... I don't think it's quite double, but 50%, right? So it's 60 now, it's around 90, which is very, very strong. So I have been going up with Relic Uvus, but just to cover this one as well, the Conquered Roost territories will provide larger shields to heavy infantry and heavy cav, increasing their ranged armor by 2. Wood will also be generated at the rate of 200 per minute, but is reduced by 2 wood for each unit equipped with a Roost shield. So this is a really good defensive age-up. If you feel like you're going to die and you can't get the relics, this could be a good option, making your units better, as well as giving you passive resources no matter what, right? However, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to get Relic Uvus because I do think it is stronger overall. But the other one is by no means bad. And I do kind of want to share with you guys this Relic Uvu situation because I think it is pretty strong. And again, it allows you to get this upgrade, which makes your edict better, your Haaschs better, very strong, and it allows you to start getting the stone to get Barak reinforcements, or ultra range reinforcements, or stable reinforcements, and essentially, depending on which one you get from which production building, like if I get it from the range, I can now make 2 ultras for the cost of... Sorry, 3 ultras for the cost of 2. And that is an insane bonus. Like, you're just spawning 1 ultra out of thin air for free every time you make 2 ultras. Crazy amount of bonus, right? Not only that, but you're still getting... I thought I went in the Jiffy. But you're still getting that Haaschs for free as well. So every time you make 2 ultras, you're just getting this amount of units for free, which is just like mind-blowing to think about the value of that, right? So I've really been heavily utilizing the Haaschs edict alongside the reinforcements buff as well to really start getting a lot of free value. And to do that, again, you want to be trying to get as much stone as possible, so so you can get those upgrades. And oh, I brought back the Uvu. That was my bad. I want to show you guys spawning a relic Uvu out of the thin air, right? So again, we will increase in the stone generation by 20% just by getting that age up, and we can spawn Uvus with relics. And we can now get the Uvu offering upgrade in the draw. So now we're getting 93 stone per minute from multiple Uvus. We can make 3 in Castle Age, right? So 3 plus every relic you get. And if you're getting 5 relics, you can have 8 Uvus in Castle Age, right? So pretty insane if you can really start stacking up those relic Uvu counts. And even if he destroys this relic Uvu, the relic will spawn and you can put it back in the pro tent, right? So it's not something that's going to be taken away from you ever. Now, these are the horse archers. They're just, you can just think of them like rear horse archers. They're not too interesting here. I don't think there's too much to show you guys. The Stockyard Edict is similar to that of enclosures. If I put a Stockyard near a fortified outpost and we get this Stockyard Edict, it's going to start to generate gold. We have to swap the Edict though, of course. It should start to generate gold here in a second. Not sure why it's not generating gold. It should be generating gold here. It's within the influence of a fortified outpost, and we're using the Stockyard Edict, so... Oh, here we go. A little bit slow to do that, but you get the point. It generates up to 40 gold per minute with 4... I think it might be the inner Jiffy thing that's kind of bugging us a little bit. But we would get up to 40 gold per minute here. 1 for each walker. Yeah, you can see that now it's swapping here. It's the cheats that was bugging a little bit. I mean, it's also a good edict. I think it's better later on in the game when you can kind of afford to build these stockyards around your fortified outposts. But until then, I think the Karash Edict is probably the stronger edict until you get probably 50 to 40 villagers working on food. Alright, and I think the final thing that I want to cover is... These aren't too interesting, they're just upgrades that give you... I mean, I'll cover this one, because this one's not too interesting, it's just like a fortified outpost upgrade. This one is an upgrade that gives you an ability which makes your unit stronger within the outpost. And we can use the ability here, but essentially as this finishes, like when it finishes, it gives you an ability that increases your movement speed and makes your units take less damage, right? So my movement speed is faster now. It's not on the horse archers, it's just on these guys. Or on any units, right? So movement speed increased by 50% and received damage decreased by 15% as well. So it just makes units better within the ore of the outpost. Or when it activates, right? Now finally, for the imp age ups, stone armies, the golden tent can rapidly produce unique units at a discounted stone cost, and roost tributes are upgraded with increased armor and a broad axe. These are roost tributes. Essentially, they get cheaper as time goes on and you don't use them, but as you use them, they become more expensive, right? So if I was to use this, it would now cost 350 stone afterwards, right? So I'll use it to show you guys. So it costs 50, must have increased by 50 as I was saying, but now it costs 400, right? If I was to use it again, it would cost 700. But you can think of these, if you play Age of Empires 3, like Minutemen. Like things that you want to call quick so to defend yourself. Or I guess attack, possibly even as well. But the point is that if I was to get this upgrade, it would make all of this stuff cheaper, right? And it would actually give you a few units as well, and all of these units would be cheaper to produce. The other one is the golden tent would generate 10 gold for every 10 seconds for each fortified outpost, up to a maximum of 6 fortified outposts. So this age up is just like, can give you up to 600 gold per minute. That's pretty much it. Pretty good, but not too complicated. We don't need to go over this, I think. For that purpose, let's age up with this one. And you can see that my units are now cheaper, right? This one now costs 80 stone instead of, I think it was 200, maybe a little cheaper than that. But it's all the units being produced here are cheaper than they would be from a barrack, right? This costs 10 stone. From a barrack, it's 100 food. So you're saving a shit ton of resources if you were to produce car ash from the golden tent instead of the barrack. As well as, same with Keshek, and again, you're also getting the car ash. Same with Faction Trebuchet. You're just saving resources by building these from the golden tent instead of a normal production building. And you can do the math on it as well, right? To show the production time. It would take 60... To produce 4 Kesheks, it would take 60 seconds. Which would cost 440 resources. Here, you would be saving 180 resources per Keshek. Sorry, per batch. Which means 2 batches, you'd be saving 360 resources. If you were to produce the Keshek from the golden tent. But I think the best value you'd be getting would be the Karash, as well as the Tour Goods, as well as the Traction Trebuchet. And the Roost Tribute isn't bad either. I think that mostly covers everything. Obviously, it's hard to cover everything that a civilization has, but I am going to be covering a more in-depth video on how you, like, I guess just like a build order guide and how you play the civ. Again, I have said that I think this is a fast castle kind of civ, but I do want to show you guys that in practice versus either a human opponent or an AI. So if you guys are interested in that video, it should be coming out soon as well. So take care everybody, and I hope to see you guys on the next one.